What is going on, guys? Welcome to J Powell Music, and it is here. It has arrived. The Mars Volta new album is out. The Lucro, sucio, los ojos del vacio. Man, I gotta say, I'm on my second listen right now. I bought it through Bandcamp, as I mentioned on my short, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I actually like it better than the last album, and the last album was very good, right? I had a whole video about it, but I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of points in this where I feel that I don't know, there's a certain old school vibe a little bit within this album, and I feel like it's a little more digestible. Not saying that this is the intention, but just as sort of listener, listening to like their most like hardcore prog rock stuff, I feel like this is very digestible for anyone to really get into it. Mars Volta used to be the band where it's like, oh, this is the band you listen to where you're doing a trip or something. But this is a very digestible album for a lot of different people. And I think I kind of understand why they were doing a lot of performances, live promoting this in a sense. But man, the album is really good. It's really good. And I think I'll probably be listening to it a lot more, than the prior one. And the prior one was very good once again. So let's talk about some of these songs here. And obviously, there's going to be another video I'll do as far as for conceptually, what are we talking about here? What's the themes of this? This is more so just an album review for the songs that I liked, essentially. So just to let you guys know, there will be another video where I'll kind of try to do some more analysis and a deep dive as far as for the story goes, for my interpretation or what have you, until they just say it, until they just say what it's about. Um, so obviously this, it seems like the album it starts at the end, as I feel like a couple of Mars Volta albums do that, at least from a narrative perspective. As you guys know, Francis the Mute kind of started at the end, and then ties back around. Mars Volta seems to kind of like doing that. I feel like, I mean, the first song is called Finn. Uh, but some of my standout tracks here on this album, the Iron Rose, really good. There's a lot of really strong melodies that Cedric Bixler does on this album. Really catchy stuff. Um, really, really catchy stuff. And sound great. The band really locks in. Um, with Linda, um, Philim, if I'm not positive if I'm pronouncing it correctly, with the drummer, and then Ava Gardner. They have a lot of really good parts throughout the album that they really lock into this really great groove, especially with Marcel doing the keys and percussion and whatnot. And then, Cedric, he sounds, better than he's ever sounded. Um, he's got some really great melodies and stuff that he's really caked to a lot of these songs, and Iron Rose is one of them. Another standout song for me. It's almost like a two-part, but it's Cue the Sun, Alba del Orate, really dope. And there's a part at like minute 30 where there's kind of like this breakdown almost, but really like just a great musical moment, or just a great part within the song, where I was like, oh, that was really cool, So, Voice in My Knives is really great. I love the percussion on a lot of this stuff too. They would kind of bring back, those, Cuban, Latin, rhythms, when it comes to the percussion. So it's not just drums, because there's a little bit, I think, a little bit of percussion from the last album, if I'm not mistaken, but not nearly like this. I haven't heard the textures of percussion like this since Francis the Mute, really, since that album. Especially with the first track on there, or the second track, technically, I guess, on that album. And they even have some saxophone stuff within this too. Bringing that back. So they definitely really add a lot of texture with different instruments and whatnot. throughout this. But yeah, I'll Voice of My Knives, really great. And once again, the melodies that Cedric is creating, I mean, really catchy. This is some of the to me, this is some of the most catchy melodies that Cedric has written. Um and which is really great. Or it's Posiedra de mi sombra, which I guess is in English it's Possessor of My Shadow. Really great song. Really great song. Maridos, uh, another just really rich on melody. Morgana is great. Um, there's one part for this song. Let's see, un disparo. Let me scroll down here so you guys see what I'm talking about. Un disparo al vacio. That's one of my favorites as well. Another standout. Um, Another huge standout one. There's a kind of a cool switch up part of that song too, which is really great. And then one of the last songs, "Cue the Sun" reprise. A lot of really great groove lock in stuff. Um, it's just a really nice sounding album, and again, obviously, I feel like there's a concept. Most of these albums that they do have some type of a concept, and obviously this one does. But it definitely kind of seems like some type of a tragic love story, if you will. Obviously I'll do a deep dive from another video for a deeper analysis. But man, they it seemed like they really had a great time making this. And then the of course, Omar Rodriguez Lopez, one of my favorite musicians ever. Um, One of my favorite guitar players, just musicians in general, as far as creating, just kind of like, you know, establishing the music and everything, locking everything in. It's just the music's really good, really good. And Cedric, I mean, this is some of his best work. Some of his best work, I really feel like, as far as just kind of creating these melodies and vocals. You know, um, I think this is great. This is really good. Really, really good. Really, really good. Um, if you are a if you are new to Mars Volta, I think this is a really great album to dive into. Reason being is because there's a lot of moments in this album where you kind of get like new Mars Volta and old Mars Volta, and maybe not like Amputexture Delouse Mars Volta a little bit, but not like the prog rock notion. I'm more speaking to the different playing with space and the music, having certain songs where you're just kind of hearing sounds, people talking, kind of you can't really hear what they're saying, and then it goes into a song, like that type of like Mars Volta type stuff, or just moments where they just kind of play with the space musically, and Cedric isn't singing, and then he goes eventually back in, just like a lot of really interesting choices musically. But you get a little old and a little new, like type of Mars Volta. So you get a little bit of both, but it's in a very, the music is very digestible to multiple audiences, I would say. It's just really nice sounds. Um, and obviously, from a band perspective, their sounds are going to change because they've been a band for, Lord knows how many years, multitude, right? But I say if you're new to Mars Volta, I think this is a great album to start off with, um, to check out. Even one prior, but I think this one I just really like the melodies on these songs. Like those are the really big standouts, and then they lock in. Eva Gardner and Linda on drums. Um, it's everybody really locks in really well. So just a lot of dope grooves, on this, which is great. As far as for Mars Volta fans that have you know been with the regime with us since the beginning. If you'd like the album, I think there is a point in time, right, when it comes to these albums, these albums that they've done, they've matured over time. They are not necessarily matured over time, but their sound has changed over time, right? So, um, I think this is a really. I think you'll still enjoy and appreciate it. I think if you're a real fan, I think there's always a a dichotomy, not a dichotomy, but there's always these fans where they just like the old stuff. And then they're like, man, is it the old stuff? I want the old stuff back, blah, blah, blah. And it's just not, it's like asking someone to be who they were 20 years ago. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense as a person. It doesn't make any sense as an artist. Why would you sound exactly the same like you did 20 years ago? People have different experiences, emotions, and that's fueling the art. So it annoys me where it's like, well, they go prog rock again. I'm like shut up. But back to the album, man. I think this is really solid. I'm going to be listening to this quite a bit. I got the CD. It's showing up tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, definitely probably the most digestible concept album I've listened to. Of course, I have to understand the concept through another video of a deep dive, but yeah, there's quite a few songs where I was like, I really like that. I really like that. Ooh, I like what's going on here. Is it a perfect album? I don't know. I don't know if it's a perfect album, but it's goddamn good. It's really good. It's really good, and I enjoy it. Mars Volta fan. So I can't really complain. I think this is a solid project. And of course, let me know in the comments what's your guys' thoughts, my Mars Volta people. You guys have been with me since I started the channel, really, and started talking about Mars Volta and whatnot. So let me know in the comments what was if you liked the project, what were some of the songs you really dug, or some of the moments in the songs that you dug. Let me know in the comments. Of course, J Powell Music. Catch you guys next video. Thanks.